Hello, this is Eddie with Fast Eddie's again. We're looking at a Bosch dishwasher. It's for a brother. For my brother. He's actually, I think he's going to donate this. Um, but the complaint was it doesn't wash very well. I got it hooked up right now. We got just like a simple, connection. I know that's crazy. He come up with that. Seems like it's working pretty good. So, as long as we don't get water on, I think it'll be all right. Um, got a water hose and connected to it with an adapter. Um, but well, so we got it hooked up. I got it filling. Um, let's see what's wrong with it. Washability issue with the Bosch. I don't know if you guys can hear me very well. If this got wind, I apologize if I do post this and has a little bit of problem. I just do with what I have. Otherwise, I'll probably narrate. But we got it filling up right now. We're going to let it run. Washability issue with the Bosch. It's pretty much three things, I guess. Okay, one is you have no water, but I mean, that's no wash at all. If you got water and it's not very cleaning your dishes very well, you can have a pump issue, dirty filter. Water heating is the biggest one, I'm going to say, and detergents. But very little on detergents. These things get things cleaned pretty good. Bosch's are my favorite ones. Favorite dishwasher. The thing is with the Bosch is, for the cost of repair, you can't replace it for comparable. And when I say that, a $200, $203 pump, another $100, $200 in labor, you can't buy a $1,300 Bosch to replace it. So when I say that, they're usually worth repairing. And they're a longer lasting dishwasher altogether. They do better when they wash dishes. I don't know. I have one, and it's one of those dishwashers. I don't care who throws the dishes in it, as long as they're not throwing quarters or things that's going to tear up the pump in it, glass. Now it's not going to, if you get glass down in one, expect to replace the impeller. Just expect it. It's a plastic impeller. There's only one dishwasher out there that I've ever said that could take on glass, but even Bosch kicks its butt in washability. So, and the lasting. I know, because I used to love the Maytag tall tub, and the one before it. I think it was like something clean 1 and 2 or something like that. The one that you could throw the cake in. You haven't seen the commercial where you could throw the cake in it. Well, here's the deal. A Bosch, I'm not going to throw a cake in it, but I'm going to tell you a Bosch is probably going to knock the cake out, plus the second one. So I'm going to put my, and maybe one of these days I'll make a video putting my money where my mouth is, but I'm going to say the Bosch is going to kick butt. I don't know if it's going to clog it up all at once. That would be the question. If it's going to clog it up all at once, that would be the problem. But if it could take it as it comes, if the cake don't just fall apart at once, then if it can take it as it comes, then I think the Bosch would kick it. I think it could really kick it. I don't know. That may be a good YouTube for something. Don't take my stuff, everybody. It's my YouTube for the future. Anyway, so we're letting it run. We're going to let this run. Because it's cold water, it's got to heat it up. So we'll be able to test the heater, make sure the heater's working. I'll be able to look at the pump and make sure that it's working, make sure it's getting enough pressure. And basically how I do that is you kind of just got to split second it. Like, you got to open the door and get your eyes locked and watch for the spray, how tall the spray is. The other thing you can do, I've heard of people just turn the cups upside down. That's not a pressure check. It's just not. Sometimes you have to actually trick the door switch and look at it and get the spray everywhere. I mean, that's just what you're going to have to do. I mean, if you got to check it, you got to check it. I've had some, like the manufacturers have like a piece of plexiglass they'll put in there, and a trigger for the door switch, like just another door latch that's preset for the depth, and you can do that. I mean, you can go and cut you up some stuff and make that happen. But I mean, that's a lot of extra work. Maybe I'll do that one day, but it's per the dishwasher. You have to have every model of dishwasher has got a different shape of door, and you're going to have how many covers to make that happen. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. Maybe we'll do a YouTube with it one day and we'll play around with that. That's another good idea. Man, I'm giving out stuff I shouldn't be giving out. Nobody please take my stuff. These are mine. Copyright, Bubba. Anyway, I guess you can't copyright an idea. Or can you? I don't know. Anyway, it's still just wrong to do that to people. So yeah, we're gonna let it run here and see what happens. I'm hoping it'll go ahead and, maybe we just don't need anything. Or if it does, maybe we just gotta clear out a pump or something. I mean, that would be the optimum deal here. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I think I already found the issue. Okay, I got it shut up here. It's going to start right up. It sounds like the pressure of the water filling. Like it doesn't actually sound like it's got any pressure. So I'm going to have to check on that pump. And just to kind of check this here, I'm going to line you up. And you can see the pressure coming out the top wash arm. There's almost nothing coming out the bottom. Yeah, I mean, it's not even building no pressure. So we're going to have to look at that. I don't know. I think it's just got a pump problem. Because it's not even, like, it don't sound like that pump is on the ball. Like, it don't sound like it is pushing hardly anything. It sounds like the maybe drain pump level of run. All right. Well, let's find it out here. So it doesn't seem like I had any real obstructions in it. I mean, the screens look okay. I mean, they're not pristine, but they're okay. Nothing wrong with them. I don't see anything down in there that's going to cause it. I do believe your main pump is this port. So, and I think that's your drain, if I remember correctly. So that's not going to help you if you take that apart. If you have a drain issue, you can use that, but I would probably just remove the pump, get on the bottom side of the pump and do that. It looks like we're going to take it apart. Okay, so to take this thing apart to get to the pump, this is how you're going to do this, all right? You got to pull it out of the cabinet. You can't do it in the cabinet, sorry. That is the worst thing about a Bosch, okay? You try to do pump work, you got to strip it all apart, and it sucks. There's no better way to say that. So, that being said, get it pulled out of your cabinet, adjust your legs down, you don't have to reset everything, just expect to reinstall it. But it's easy to reinstall and easy to pull. They usually are pretty easy. As far as dishwashers go, to pull in and put out, pull in and, pull out and put in, whatever, they're about as easy as they get, especially when it's already been installed. You can usually put it right back to that with fairly ease. Now, so we got it out. So you got it out, okay? The first thing you're going to do, because you got to get this base off. This base has got to come off. So it means there's a lot of extra stuff that has to be done to make that happen. And there's going to have water inside of it, so whenever you lean it back or you move it around, it's going to pour water out. You always have a little bit of water left in these whenever they're done draining. So, with that being said, you're going to, you kind of have that on there, you twist back and then pull like that, or you can pop this out and then twist that back, or it's got a little catch on top and it's got a snap right there. So, and you got T20 Torx, or 20 Torx, all right, there. Let's see here. Does this one have any others? Some of them will have some down in here you'll have to get, but this one's right there. You have them on the back side. We're going to get to the other ones. So let's just do this one in the front for now. Now you'll have to open the door to get to that. Well, I tried to record this once. You pull this piece off, okay, just kind of sits in there. You're going to leave that black piece in place. Let's put this back on so you can see it. Oh, one-handed wonders. Hold on. All right, so that's in place. You're gonna have to pull this off to take this base off, because it's that piece is part of the base. Spring is part of the base, so you have to take that piece off. And that's your preload for the door, spring preload for the door. Then you have the back side, you have a screw there, you have a screw there. Now on this side, see, we got the screw off the back. On this side, there's normally a metal panel here that has like a screw up in here somewhere. It just takes like one torque screw. So again, on this side, we're going to, whichever was easier, you pop it out. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I snapped it. So don't do like I do. I think we can probably put a screw or something in there and hold that back in place, but that's not a big. Take loose your spring. So, I already tried, I don't know if I hit the button and missed it or something, but so far what I've done is I pulled this screw out. I took this loose from this side. But you see me do that on the other side. I don't think any of this, normally there's like a metal panel right there, and there's like a screw here or a screw here or something like that. You just take the one screw out and the panel just comes off. On this model there's not. Every model's different. And then make sure that none of this stuff is stuck to the wall, so it'll keep you from pulling it apart. But it all stays. You don't have to pull it off or anything. It all just stays there. Maybe you might pull this one out. You might pull that one out. I don't know. It seems like this one's going to stay really good. If it looks like it's going to get flimsy on you and break or something, just go ahead and pull it. But now we're going to lean it back. Just in case you didn't know, your wiring schematic's right there on a Bosch. Alright. Now we're going to pull this loose. Okay, the key here is being gentle. Okay. I'm going to pull it loose a little bit at a time. Okay. Alright. And once you got it where it's kind of coming loose, you want to get it out on the side. You know, look where that piece of foam, oh, look where that's at. Okay. So now you got that line right there that's hanging up. All right. You've got to be really gentle with this stuff. Look at that. Somehow there's a nest on that. Okay. So there's a little tab here you're going to have to get loose. You want to pull that up. Like I said, be gentle with this. You got wires in between here. You can just tear. They'll just tear like paper. Okay. Go ahead and undo your control board. Pay attention to where you're unplugging them from. Record it, you know, take video, record it if you have to. Basically, we're trying to get to that pump right there behind it. So you got some tabs here. You got a tab here, but I can't. You got a tab there you got to undo, and probably down here, right down in here. Next thing that you need to be paying attention of, you got to take these out at some point. You can't get to it without doing it. So you got to pull it back. You got to pull this down. Oh, you almost break them trying to get them out. They're hard to just get out without breaking them. But you see how it's got a tab there. It lines up right there, and that's how you're going to have to get it back in. If you break it, it's not that big of a deal because you got the pressure of the wall pushing it in there, and it usually will just stay in place even if it breaks that. But yeah, but you're gonna take those loose now, both sides. Okay, so to get this loose without tearing it up, I just take a pair of pliers or something, needle nose, and pry against that seal just like that. And when you put it back together, it's gonna be a little tricky, but that's how you get it out. So I'm trying to get to it for you guys. You're going to do the same thing with that. You're going to use that pair of pliers and kind of push against it on this side. Oh, you can't see me. On that side, you're going to push the pliers between it. Now you can, I think you can use a hose clamp on this one to put it back together. We'll see what happens. Well, if I could have seen that before I was taking it apart, some of these, this is a, you know, you don't know until you see some of these pumps. But right there, if you could have say that thing sits in there like that, okay, you could have actually, instead of pulling this all the way out, you could have taken and pushed on that tab right there without breaking it, keyword without breaking it, and twist this loose. But I might have still taken it apart, because putting it back together would probably be a little bit of a challenge. So we're just going to push on that little tab and twist like that, just like that, and pull this apart. So it looks like there's some kind of fabric or yarn or something like that up in that pump. I think I'm just going to try to backfeed it and push it out. I don't know that I can take that impeller loose without damaging stuff. So we got the muck out of the pump, and it was, you probably could have used Lemmy Shine to get that out. If you'd have just ran it for a couple loads and with nothing in it, Lemmy Shine would have probably loosened that up and got it out of there. Just FYI, if you ever have this issue and you're not using Lemmy Shine, try it. It's an amazing product, and it's amazing what it does. I've had pumps that would not run at all, and had a customer use it, and they ran it 3 times, and that thing was like brand new inside. So it's a beautiful product at times. So now, for that plier trick I just showed you, I probably wouldn't do that necessarily, because I made marks in the shaft of that, and that's not good. Don't do that. Now I'm going to try to just put this back in without having that on there, and I should twist that pump onto it. Maybe next time we can just, you got to watch out, man, because that thing's already made a crack. You got to watch out, the thing's already made a crack in it, and you got to have that piece to hold it in place. So don't break that, and I didn't push on it too hard. So, but you got to press that. You're gonna have to push that back into that seal. Maybe get you some, I don't know, maybe a little bit of dish soap, not a lot. You'll be regretting it. But, and don't break this piece don't break your pump housing pushing on it. So you got to hold the pump housing and then push the impeller housing onto it. All right. Okay, so you can make yourself a good hose clamp for this, because you got to have a real skinny hose clamp. So I got me a couple of these smaller hose clamps. I got the biggest size with that width. I just doubled them up like that. That way I can make it kind of match that width, because if you do them too deep, it'll mess up it won't line up and everything. It'll cause it a problem. So that's what I did to measure for that hose clamp. Now the other one's kind of a press fit, so you don't have to put a hose clamp for it, but this one you do. And that's the one on the side. And you just want to get these close. Get those closer when you do that. So don't crank this one down too much. You see it's pinching that up there. It's pinching the seal, so don't crank it too much. Try to flatten that. I know on the back side of this clamp, right there, it's going to have like a little flange that wants to dip into the hose. You have to make sure that bends up. On that, I'd pull it loose. And this one the upper one just pushes in. You just push that thing in and it'll be just fine. That clamp doesn't take a whole lot to hold it. I mean, that hose doesn't take a lot to hold it, to make it seal. So, all right, let's put our pump back in. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even have taken these loose. Now that I know, I would have just kind of pushed on that tab and twisted that thing loose if I knew where it was. I looked and looked and looked, couldn't find where it was until I got it off. Don't use WD-40 on this. You can use dish soap. It's the only thing you can use for seals. You need to make sure you clean your seal before you put it back on. Use a little bit of water. Just get that muck off it, because it won't seal on that. All right. So we got that motor twisted back on. You're going to see, if you got your motor sitting right here, it starts out here. You push it up on, make sure it's in place and all the catches. Okay, and then twist this way. Now you can get that thing cockeyed in there, so make sure you got got that seal good and seated before you twist it, because you'll put it in a bind and break stuff. So make sure you get it up all the way on there, and you want to get the little wings here, the little rubber mounts. Get them off to the side, kind of like that. Get your harness going over the top of that motor before you put it back together, because you'll lose where it's all at, and you'll be hating yourself. You have to take it all back apart. Now you can start putting, I think you can start putting your control back together and such. start putting it back together. All right. Okay, so the biggest thing I want to tell you is, you're putting this thing back together, you're going to just kind of piece it together as you took it apart. You know, pay attention to what you did taking it apart, and do it like that, and pay attention as you're putting it back together. This thing is not just a simple, you know, you do it like this, put it back together. It's not a cookie cutter. I hate to say it, but it's just not. If you did it like that, you'd probably miss something, break something. So be gentle, be gentle, and just, you know, plug your stuff back in, put everything back in place, you know, get it lined back up, and gently squeeze it back together, paying attention to where everything goes, and make sure everything lines back up. That's the biggest thing. If you try to crunch it back together and screw it down and force it, you're going to bust something. It's all plastic. It's fragile. Just take your time. Don't get in a rush. If you got to take it back apart, take it back apart. Just take your time. Okay? Okay. These terminals have special grooves that they'll fit in. Okay? You look at it, they're only supposed to go in one place. Now I know I'm one of those people. I can force something to go together, okay? So don't force it. Make sure that they line up. See, like you got multiple grooves there and such, but it's only going to go in one place and fit like it's supposed to. All right. See, like I can, you know, it looks like it can go anywhere here. Yeah, just pay attention on this. It does have like pins. Now you can force it, but don't force it any more than you're supposed to, other than it takes to move over a terminal. You know, you got special pins and such, you know, for that thing to line up. If you pay attention to where the sockets are and such, you'll find out that where they go. All right. Okay, so once you get that thing back together and you got it pushed up there, you can kind of put one screw in at a time on these top ones, and I kept holding it together. I've already got my, you know, hinges in place and stuff. Yeah. Look, that piece, I want to show the repair on that. Now the screw is just long enough. It just has enough. See, I got room there between the case, so it did not go through the case. And it had to be wide enough for to thread into that metal. And yeah. So it's all back together on that. So I know you see me break that. But I fixed it. All right. Okay, so we got it all back together here. Base is all back on. Got the screws in it. I don't know how else to show you that, but we got it all back together. We're fixing to test run it. Yeah. So I guess we got it back together here. We're not too much worried about it. I'll put the screens and stuff back in here in just a second. But we're just mainly trying to make sure if it's running here. You can't even hear it, but it's definitely got more pressure. I can tell just by hearing it. Let's see here. Let's try to wash that bottom wash arm. See it? You can see it a lot better this time. So we got it done. It's fixed. Like and subscribe.